up, everybody, and welcome back to Challenge Accepted right here on The Fumble. I'm your host, Jackie Ray. Joining me once again is actor and fitness guru, Taylor Reed. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wasn't he here last week? Weren't you here last week, Taylor? Yes.
Y'all ain't tired of me yet?
No, he's back. And you know what? All of my guests are going to keep coming back because we've got to fulfill these challenges, number one. But number two, Taylor specifically is back because the Olympics are trash. The Olympics are trash. They got rid of our girl, Sha'Carri. His challenge to me was specifically centered around her breaking FloJo's record. Can't do it now because the Olympics are trash.
Going into it, and they took her out the game.
How'd you feel about that when you saw it?
Right. So I was confused. I was shocked. I was hurt, disappointed. I was looking for answers, wondering why and how that could take place. I mean, we live in a world now where people's attitudes towards cannabis are finally evolving.
Right.
And, by and large, there are many states in the United States where cannabis consumption is completely legal.
Including the one she was in.
Exactly. Other places where it's legal medically. People who want to straddle the fence or stand on the side of the IOC will speak to the fact that, according to the Olympic Committee, cannabis consumption is still illegal. And she had the higher, nanograms per milliliter, whatever the measurement is. I just think that this is an opportunity for the IOC to evolve. And when you couple her circumstances with the fact that they also prohibited, athletes with traditionally black hairstyles from having a proper swim cap, it's like, all right, wait a minute now. What are we doing here? Right. You know what I mean? It does feel a whole lot like targeting. Mm-hmm. And it feels a whole lot like targeting us. I hurt for her simply because of her circumstances. She lost her mother. She's going through all of this and having to deal with, seeking to realize a dream and become an Olympic athlete. And now all of a sudden this falls on her shoulders. Yeah. And let me not say that I'm not ignorant to the fact that there are people who are just so black and white and they're like, well, the rules are the rules. She knew what she was doing. Okay. Blank stare on that. I just feel like this is, once again, an opportunity for the Olympic Committee to evolve. Mm-hmm. And when you have an athlete with special circumstances, that you deal with those special circumstances on this case-by-case basis and allow things to proceed as they should. In other words, I think that she should be allowed to run. I don't think that she was consuming anything that's going to enhance her performance. And it also bothers me medically that, people can suffer from whatever issues, from anxiety, from depression, from whatever. They'll put them on Prozac. They'll put them on all these drugs that could potentially have a detrimental effect to them. But then it's like, oh no, not that demon grass. Like, I could go on and on about
this. You just happen to set it on fire. You know what I mean? So I can't with y'all. I can't. But we could talk about this all day because I really wanted the United States to take this moment and step up. And even if the Olympic Committee had said, you know what, no, we're sticking to our rules. Everyone talks about we got politicians that won't even acknowledge that we're in a racist country. But when they have these opportunities to step up and say something on our behalf, they never do because we're in a racist country. But let's move on. Let's move on. We're going to get into Challenge Accepted. Now, let me whoosah this moment because this is going to be a very unique challenge for me because Steven Jackson, if you guys have been following The Fumble for any length of time, he traditionally has been someone that I have rocked with. He has said some things in the past that I have not agreed with. To be honest, I have direct messaged him about that because you guys know that I am very anti-dissing black people in public. That's just not my personal thing. But I don't have a blue check mark, so he's never responded to me. So that is fine. But this Rachel Nichols to me has brought out the absolute worst in a lot of people. Specifically two. First, obviously, Steven Jackson, we're going to get into that, but also Adam Mendelsohn, who is the PR person for LeBron James, who has been very vocal, and he was the one in that moment in time that said, oh, you know, this Me Too movement and the Black Lives Matter movement is exhausting to me. And guess who laughed at that sentiment? Rachel Nichols did. You guys, if you follow the Fumble live every single morning, you know that I said that the people are who they are in private. Just because Rachel presents in public, first of all, she has to present like she's an ally because she is working for an organization that covers a league that is mostly Black. She has no choice but to present that way. I'm not giving her no credit for that. But Stephen Jackson, okay, first of all, let me just tell you this. Stephen Jackson, on his initial comments, seemed like he was on the right track. So let me just go ahead and show you his first comments.
Ain't no need for us to not speak on it when everything else is being spoken on, you know. So we need to figure out what was the context and what you were saying, because you know we ride with Maria. We gonna ride with our people first. That's just how it go.
So that was cool. You know, I didn't mind him saying that, Rachel, you need to provide clarification on what you're talking about, because either way, no matter what your clarification is, we rocking with Maria. We rocking with our people, right? 25 minutes.
I thought it was going to be good there. Like, all right, Stat, you got it. Cool. We can get with that. There we go.
25 minutes later, he channels his E40 and he wants to be Captain Saver Rachel. So take a listen to this.
We ain't getting recorded, but we say shit too behind closed doors. So I get it. I get it why Rachel mad. Rachel ain't never showed me no signs of being racist. But I would be mad too if I worked my whole life for a job and they gonna give it to a white dude just because Donald Trump in office, or just because a white kid got killed and at the time it'll look better for a white person to have a job.
What in the coontastic hell? So here's my very first problem with this is, did he just say, you know, oh, they feel like they need to hire a Black person? First of all, you say Maria is a token, and number one. Number two, you're saying, oh, just because some white kid got shot, would I hire a white? Just because? Just because?
For marginalizing lives here, huh?
Right. I Taylor, I'm a woo-sah, and I'm gonna let you tell me what you feel about Stephen Jackson and him being Captain Saver Rachel.
Well, like we talked about, when he first came out, when he asked, I had no problem with his initial statement. You know, asking for some clarity, speaking on the fact that we support Maria because we do. But that damn backpedal, when he got into, it was a letdown and it was disappointing. I think about the fact that by and large, across the board, when there's an issue with Black men in America, be it athletes, be it just everyday people, the first people to step out into the front lines, onto the forefront, and be vocal and active and speak on it, regardless of the circumstances, who just jump out there, are Black women.
Yeah.
It's just the truth. Anytime you see an issue take place, when you saw things happening with George Floyd, with Stephen Jackson's brother, who were the first people there jumping on the front lines, being activists, you know, pushing for change? It was Black women.
Yep.
Now we got to come full circle. And it's kind of like, you know, I can understand from your perspective and from Black women's perspective, it feels like a slap in the face.
It does.
Because where is that reciprocal energy? Where is that same type of advocacy for Black women in the face of everything else that they have to deal with, not to mention just this individual situation? Like, all right, this is just your opportunity to just shut up and support a Black woman when she's receiving an opportunity, honestly, that she deserves and that she's capable of and that she's worked hard for. Just cheer her on. You ain't got to really even speak. Just cheer her on. Just be a cheerleader. Do what they do for us all the time. Be a cheerleader.
Right.
Instead, it reeks of pandering, and there's something deep rooted psychologically in that. It's like, why do you feel like you even have to? Would this woman step out and do the same thing for you?
Absolutely not.
Maria would. I can guarantee you that she would step up for him should the situation be a shoe on the other foot.
Right.
I don't know if Rachel Nichols would be the one to step
I
up and speak on that?
I am 100% positive that she wouldn't. And in his statement, if you watch the whole video, he was like, oh, you know, Rachel Nichols has gotten a lot of Black people jobs. Again, you getting a Black person who is deserving of a job is not a hashtag, it's not a hash mark in your favor. That's you doing what's supposed to be done. That's one.
Yeah.
Number two, Matt Barnes played it 100% correct. If you want to go over to his Instagram and see what he had to say, he basically said there's obviously always going to be more to this story. I've known Rachel for a long time. I'm obviously rocking with Maria, but I'm just not going to say a lot about this because I work for ESPN. That's a much better way. You have to respect that. Because I can be as militant as I want over here working for the Fumble. Because the Fumble's not going to fire me for saying something bad about Rachel Nichols. If I was working for ESPN, it'd be a different thing. But my thing is this, you could have left it at, hey, Rachel, we need you to clarify because we're going to rock with Maria. But you came on here and was Captain Saver, Rachel. And then when you got flashback, then he posted this to his Instagram as well, which I thought was, I'm done with this man. He said, it's an unfollow button right there. Use it. If you got hate for any race, I ain't the one to follow. Too many want to be Black and proud when it's convenient. First of all, when is it ever convenient to be Black and proud? That's
what me.
Sir, that is never convenient. But he said,
Black and proud has gotten us has brought way more harm than good. By and large. Right. We're usually Black and proud in spite of.
Right. Let me finish this little comment. Let me finish this little.
Yeah.
Let me finish this little tweet, and then I'm gonna let you get him because that we could have a whole nother hour show off of that one line. So he said, too many want to be Black and proud when it's convenient, but turn around and kill or steal from their own kind. Ooh, I'm going to get him. Never did anything for any good for the hood they from. Never gave a cent to their community. It hurts you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Bringing your community down, but Black and proud. Stop it. You can't fool me. So he literally jumped into this whole Black on Black crime narrative, which I've told y'all 100 times that ain't real. Black on Black crime is just as high as white crime because people kill and commit crime where they live. That's number one. Did this fool go all lives matter? Number two.
You see what I just did? I was moving the goalpost. What does that have to do? We had to have that moment of silence right there. And that happens a lot with those types. And I want to stop short of disrespecting this man because I feel like he needs somebody in his circle to enlighten him. Maybe Matt Barnes and him, when they have their private conversations, maybe that's because I feel like Matt is mentally on the right side of this thing and he understands what's going on. Whereas I feel like Stack might have just spoken emotionally and he got this whole thing jumbled up. Somebody needs to just enlighten him about this whole deal. And what we got to witness and listen to in that phone call is people being who they really are.
Exactly.
That's really what it is.
And I have to admit, y'all know that I never say anything, and this does not count. But if I don't see LeBron James fire this man, there's a level of disappointment I have with LeBron because I just don't believe you have anyone in your camp who could say it's exhausting. And then in his little apology, at least he tried. He was like, oh, I understand that women who face these kinds of challenges and Black people who face these kind of challenges never get to be exhausted, so I shouldn't have said it. But you spoke your truth. Mm-hmm. Your apology means nothing to me because that was your truth. And I'm be very disappointed in LeBron if he does not swiftly dismiss that man from his camp.
You got to go somewhere on your own and wake up from that. Mm-hmm. But if you didn't realize until that point that emotion that you felt was some bull, can I say that? If you realize that emotion was some and that you coming out of your mouth and saying, when you work for LeBron James, who is as outspoken an advocate for his community as there is, and who catches flack from all sides constantly because he speaks out, if you can, like you work for LeBron, so I'm pretty sure that's a constant conversation in his camp. Mm-hmm. If you can come out of your mouth and say that you're exhausted from all of this Me Too and Black Lives, like you really showing your white man right now.
Right.
You're really showing that outside of the calm seas of being a white man of America, you just can't put up with it. You can't deal with women having to fight for the things that they deserve. You can't. Oh my God, I'm tired of black people asking for just
equality. I'm over it. I'm tired of it.
Black people want what I get just because I'm a white man in America. Like, you don't have to wake up in the morning and ask somebody to treat you like an equal, to treat you fairly, to treat you like a human being. You don't have to worry about that. And the fact that you got to listen to all of these people who don't look like you asked for it is exhausting. That's
American thought process, though. That is America.
To be honest, dare I say it, his comment was a little more troubling than Rachel's commentary.
Exactly my point.
Because Rachel's commentary was completely selfishly motivated. Mm-hmm. She was worried about herself. Do I completely disagree with what she said? Absolutely. Would I jump so far as to call her a racist? No, because I think that her comment was selfishly motivated. She would have found a way to grieve and say something wild about a white man taking her position. Mm-hmm. She was upset because she lost that position. And it came out manifested that, these black, was it some 100%? Let's not take away from that. His comment was telling because it's the thought process of a lot of white America. Is that they're just tired of having to hear about it. Mm-hmm. Like, they don't want to hear this. His thought process is the thought process of those people who moved to get Colin Kaepernick pushed out of the way from the NFL, because this is exhausting to have to. I don't want to have to look at this man. The same people who 2 days ago were wearing American flag swim trunks and drinking out of American flag beer cans said, and then turn around and said that Colin Kaepernick was disrespecting the flag. If you know anything about the flag,
right? You don't even read what it said.
I've seen it myself. Yep. White people walking around with American flag swim trunks and wearing the flag like a cape. But this man who's using his right as an American to protest was disrespecting the flag. Those are the people who are exhausted by this type of stuff.
Taylor and I can obviously go on and on and on about this, and I feel like we will after this show, but we only got a little bit of time, so we're going to move on from here. I agree with you 100%. It's Adam. He's more a problem to me, especially since he's in the camp of somebody that I revere so much. I need him dismissed immediately. I'm not super big on cancel culture because y'all came for Nick Cannon, and I'm not canceling Nick Cannon. I'm not going to do it. I'm just not a big fan of cancel culture. Do I want to cancel Rachel? Not necessarily. Do I think she's good at what she does? Absolutely not. Will I miss her if she goes? No. But if she has an opportunity to redeem herself, fine. That apology that she gave was not it. But we're going to move on from there. We're going to get into this next one, which is the fan challenge. We're going to lighten up the mood a little bit because this is something that I just absolutely hate. I don't understand it because I think when people say there's an asterisk or this ring doesn't count, they really don't understand the game. They don't understand how hard you have to work, how focused you have to be mentally, especially when you go into the bubble. People's like, oh, it's a Mickey Mouse ring. That's way worse when you're taken away from the things that you have to release yourself to make yourself feel normal, and you're stuck in the bubble.
Pandemic, how psychologically damaging that can be just to being away from your family.
Yeah. Now we're hearing something similar, just like people were calling that a Mickey Mouse ring. We're hearing something similar about these finals now with whoever wins between the Suns and the Bucks. So this one's a little different because every platform in the world has talked about the injuries that have plagued the NBA. It is a real thing. It is detrimental. I saw a posting, I believe it was Monday, that said the two healthiest teams in the league are the ones that actually made the finals. And when you really process that and look at the injuries, that's crazy. So, of course, the Suns, they had it a little different because they had to face Denver Nuggets without Jamal. They faced the Clippers without Kawhi. LeBron and AD were both injured for a good portion. The Nets didn't have Kyrie once the series was tied at 2, and then they lost Kyrie. So people are saying, oh, whoever wins, this doesn't count. Shams posted this to his Twitter. It says Giannis is listed as doubtful for Game 1 of Bucks versus Suns NBA Finals. And then the doubters came out. This user is giving Bucks some credit, but none for the Suns. He says, if Giannis doesn't play this series, although I think he will, and he'll be 80%, we can genuinely call the Suns chip a joke. Which team has which team has ever gotten this many stars go out against them? None. Yes, Bucks faced and beat the Brooklyn Nets, but it's different when that squad has KD. And then this user says, so basically the only healthy team left is going to the NBA championships. Nice work, everybody. Taylor, what do you think? I mean, are we really going to put an asterisk by this championship just because of the injuries that plague the league?
Absolutely not. There will be no asterisk for me. I don't think that is showing any respect to either of the two teams that have battled this hard to get to this point to say that their championship deserves an asterisk. Nor do I think last year's champions, the Los Angeles Lakers, do they deserve an asterisk next to it? No, a championship is a championship. And an NBA season is a war of attrition. It's not the Suns' fault that the other team shows up with a couple hobbled players, nor is it the Bucks' fault. They can't control that. Every year, every team, when they're battling through the regular season, through the playoffs, to the finals, teams deal with injuries. This is nothing new. Every season, teams show up to whatever point they get to in the season, and they have to deal with injuries. They have to deal with circumstances that could prevent them from winning. They could prevent them from getting to a championship. So saying, because certain teams had injuries that this team deserved, no, that's an NBA season.
Right.
How the NBA works. These men are traveling all over the place playing basketball for several months out of the year, sometimes playing night after night. The injuries will happen. That's just what it is. To say that an asterisk, no, I think that's disrespectful to how hard these teams work. And I especially appreciate it this year because it's the Phoenix Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks.
Right.
So you got these two small market teams that have scrapped and clawed their way into the finals. And everybody who at the beginning of the season, people just had as a lock for the champ, they at home, they're watching with us.
Yep.
So I definitely think two teams that were not even in the mix to get to the finals, the fact that they're there, if anything, that asterisk should be a positive because nobody expected these two teams. Everybody just knew LeBron and KD would be battling in the finals this year. Everybody knew it was about to be Brooklyn and the Lakers playing in the finals. Yep. And look what we got. I think that, honestly, this year we've gotten some of the best playoff basketball that we've been able to see in a long time.
And I think one of the things that people forget is they always want to say, oh, the NBA is rigged, the NBA is rigged. For ratings' sake, this wouldn't have happened if the NBA was rigged. There's no way for the sake of ratings you make that happen. But people also forget that, Chris Paul was injured a little bit too. He had some injuries of his own that he had to go through. So I get the injuries, and I love what Chris Paul had to say because I agree with both him and LeBron. LeBron was very vocal. He thought we were coming back too quick because he thought injuries would abound. Here we are. But just like Chris Paul said, he says, okay, but we talked about this. We had a conversation about it. And for whatever reasons, be it financial or be it we wanted to get back to basketball, we all collectively agreed with this. So yes, I do think they came back too early. But like he said, we all collectively agreed with it. And this is what happens. When you come back that early, you have to understand, one of the things that came down on LeBron you're playing all these minutes back to back to back to back in all these games. When you know this season is quick, you have to manage your time. And I know fans hate load management, but when you have a season that comes this quick, it is part of the game, period. It's something that you have to do. And a lot of teams clearly didn't do that well because here we are. So,
and look, you got two healthy and well-rested teams. When you look at last season, you got two of the teams that got to the playoffs, but weren't as worn down. The Lakers were worn out. You know what I mean? Like they had the shortest rest of any of the teams. Like you see the two teams from the finals last year, they got bounced up out of there.
Real quick. They're tired.
It's a war of attrition. Like I'm a Laker fan, so I wanted to see them make it into the finals, get another chip. But I definitely was aware of the fact that looking at the fact that they had such a quick, how many days? They had like 70 days or something crazy.
74 days, I believe it was. It wasn't enough. Is what I'm saying.
They barely had 2 months break from just coming off of being in the bubble in the playoffs.
Yep.
That's a rough way to start a season out.
It really
you know what I mean? And then I'm happy to see Chris Paul finally get into the finals and have a shot at getting him. I think he deserves it. Yep. And people are not giving him enough credit for basically leading a team of youngsters.
Yeah, that needed him. He definitely changed the trajectory.
He honestly was the catalyst for that Phoenix Suns team to get to this point. So I'm happy for him, and I'm proud of him. I'm happy to see Giannis get to this point because, everybody kept giving, is he really a superstar? Right. In spite of the stuff that he's already accomplished in the league, I mean, face it, the NBA, everybody gauges your greatness by, can you get the ring?
Yep.
There's so many great players.
Have you guys not noticed that Taylor and I could just go on and on and on? We've actually done this. We've actually been on the phone and then looked up and like, I gotta go. So, with that said, let's move on to challenge issued, because this is why Taylor is back, because the Olympics, y'all.
Girl out the game.
I was literally looking at all these long nails because part of me was like, damn, she might go in there and break Flo Jo's record. Let me go ahead and find me an orange wig now that I can actually make look decent. I was actually ready for it. It didn't happen. We got to do this over. Let's get into challenge issued right now. You want me to go first?
Ladies first.
Okay, so here we go. Once again, y'all know that nobody's perfect. I know y'all like Taylor. He's a very likable guy. Nobody's perfect. He's an Eagles fan. Let it go. Let it marinate, then let it go. Let it marinate, then let it go. Okay? So as an Eagles fan, one of the teams he hates is everybody in the NFC least. I said that last week. I'm going to say it again. But here's their schedule. So the Eagles have the Falcons, 49ers, Cowboys, and Chiefs for their first 4 games.
Roughest stretch in the entire NFL. No team opens up with come on now. That's the toughest stretch. Nobody has a.
Listen to me, guys. He talking about this is the toughest stretch.
It is. Who has a harder opening 4 than her?
Before we started the show, which y'all did not see, is he's like, I don't really have that much faith in Dak. I don't have that much faith in Dak.
I don't, but all right. I don't have a lot of faith in Dak, but I am. My team gonna have to show me something.
All right. Well, you better hope that your lack of faith.
I'm there opening week because they playing the Falcons.
Yep. All right. So my prediction is the Eagles will be 1-3 by week 4. Okay. So if they are 1-3 or 0-4, you have to wear on January 9th, okay? Because on January 9th, that's when you face the Cowboys. You have to come to LA. My goal is to get in there.
This is so disrespectful.
You have to come to LA on January 9th. I know an Eagles bar where we can go, but to said Eagles bar, you have to wear a Cowboys
jersey. You gonna have me? Oh God! You want me to go sit amongst my people?
Yes, I do.
With it, oh Jesus!
That's a good bet.
Okay.
Do you accept the challenge, sir?
You know what? I think that this is so disrespectful. I'm borderline offended, but I accept the challenge.
I didn't expect you to accept that.
I'm just thinking about.
You can see the faces of people because there's bound to be somebody you know in this bar because that's just how LA is.
What?
Okay, all right, give it to me. What you got for me? What you got? I'm feeling good right now, you guys. If you haven't noticed, this is the first bet that I was like, yeah. All right, what you got for me?
So one of the proudest moments, I give a little backstory. One of the proudest moments for me is you defecting from that piss hole of a camp called Dallas Cowboys fandom.
Yes.
And taking your talents to the Bayou.
Who that?
New Orleans Saints. I don't have nothing bad to say about the Saints.
Right.
Only time I'm gonna go against the Saints really is if they're on the field with the Eagles. So, it's all love there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll go back to how I was looking forward to seeing you with these long, extravagant nails and this long, flowy, down to your kneecap wig. I was excited about that. So I think I still want to see that. Yes.
What?
Yes. Okay.
Oh,
so now we're gonna bring them together. We got the Saints, your new team.
Mm-hmm.
You got long nails and the long wig, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know what's gonna happen with y'all's quarterback situation.
Oh, man.
Now, I'm a big fan of these versatile, athletic, do-it-all Swiss Army knife quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Lamar Jackson, and, you know, they got another guy down there in New Orleans, Taysom Hill. I like that guy.
I like him so much.
I understand that, but I like him so much, and I feel like circumstantially that he's going to be the week 1 starter.
What?
So
I've been out here campaigning for Jameis, and you just going to come out and disrespect me like that?
I'm just saying. Feel like Taysom is going to come out there and be the week 1 starter. And should that happen, should he take snap 1 for the New Orleans Saints, I feel like it's only right for you and I to watch a Saints game together with you adorned in your Shikari gear. Like, look at this all coming together. She went to LSU, New Orleans Saints. You know what I'm saying? It just makes sense. So you can still get your nails done. You can still put your wig on, and you can put on a Taysom jersey. I'm just saying.
Too far.
Hey, look, it just works. So I still get my desire as far as seeing your attire, and you know, we get to watch the game. It makes sense.
That was the only upside of this whole situation with Shikari. I was like, now I don't have to wear this, and you found a way. Hey,
I gotta shout out to Shikari. Wait. I'm just saying, we're gonna take pictures. It's going all over social media. Yeah. So, do you accept?
Begrudgingly, challenge accepted. I don't even want to say begrudgingly, because at the end of the day, I feel like we need to represent for Shikari. So if I have to do it because I lost a bet, I'm down to do that because I can explain that. I can explain why I'm doing this. Challenge accepted. Who dat?
There you go.
You know who's supposed to start, right? I'm just look at my face. Okay. All right. All right. I love these bets though, because you know what ultimately could happen? We could both end up losing. You know, so we could fulfill these bets together. So technically, this could be a win-win while also being a lose-lose. Kind of weird. All right, I love it. Anyway, Taylor, tell everybody where they can follow you.
Jaguar Reed on all social media. JAGUARREED.
Yes, I am so glad. This is actually, even if I lose, and I hate losing, but I seem to lose a lot on this show. But this could be fun either way. I'm very, very excited. Once again, don't forget to follow me on all things social media at JRayTheFanatic. Make sure you are here every single morning, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for the Fumble Live with myself and your girl, Devin. And don't forget to check out Challenge Accepted every single Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you so much. Put it out in the world, Who Dat Nation. Jameis is our starter week 1. Get out there.
Let's go Taysom Hill and fly.
Oh, God. See you guys next week.